this. Blessings shine in this morning. Who's ready for some boom, baby? Boom! Can't hit this chord here. That's like hitting the chord, but today we're cutting the chord. We're cutting the chord to our trauma, our drama, and our llama. This is the morning marijuana motivation. I just made all that rhyme without even trying. And this morning I'm rising and shining, man. There's some thunder clouds going on out here. There's some thunder clouds going on out here. And if you're listening with me this morning, I'm going to do a little breathing exercises with you just to get the mind right. You know, that's what we do every morning. We get the mind right and the soul tight. And that's how we heal from trauma. So I've been doing the lessons for everybody. I got another psych session today, but I've been taking notes and I'd like to share them with someone that's probably going through the same thing. Hopefully heal them. And let's see if we can't shine from within. Let's get it, shall we? Let's get it. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Thunderdome, bitch. Welcome to Thunderdome. Get it in with me, guys. This has been such a tremendous change in my life. Of course, I still do the morning marijuana motivation. But in this morning, I've been sitting still with the monkeys and the butterflies and the lizards and noticing my environment, leaves on leaves on leaves, trees on breeze, and just enjoying this thing called the process. Life is a process. You are going to have to live it to understand it. It will not be easy for you to learn. Each one of us is going through this universe with a path that's undefined or walked yet. I like to choose the path less traveled by, especially since the Jack Frost poem. And I think a lot of people dance to their own beat. You'll hear the rhythm of your drum inside you. That's just the way that you are. The part that is not you is what you've experienced since you were born. You know, we talk a lot about children development, especially after I just lost some babies through abortions, miscarriages, and anger. I literally looked at life as this concept, especially when you're healing from trauma, as this concept that we don't want to, or we assume that we will fuck up like our parents, especially since a lot of it has to do with your childhood. There's a lot of blame that goes towards your parents. I mean, even though they did the best that they could with what they had, I think someone's trying to steal their bike over there. You do the best with what you can, even if someone's making noise behind you. And the tough part is to concentrate on things that don't hurt you. You know, if it bleeds, it leads. It'll be the first thing on your newspaper, is especially my broken heart, or how did it go wrong, or did she even love me? And there's a lot of these things, but it was more like, can I handle their trauma, their drama, and their reactions? You know, there's things that are outside of my control, their history, my history. These things aren't for a blame game. They're not something that you just, well, you had divorced parents, or you had a shitty upbringing, or you were sexually abused, or you're abusive. You know, this isn't this kind of show. More to the tune of things that I would, if I could talk back to myself, or things that I now know, you know, on hindsight 2020, is that you have to handle your own trauma. This isn't something that someone's God's gift's going to send you, a magical universal person that's going to be your end all be all. This magical person that's just so good in bed, but so good in your head, and Reach preaches and teaches every morning for the morning motivation, while the other one's watching and judging and picking it apart and thinking the show was about her. I had to have a conversation about myself of what is healthier. You know, what is the healthier alternative than sitting here crying on my show? The healthier alternative was taking notes. The healthier alternative was seeing a psychologist. The healthier alternative was staying on my diet and really getting to my own trauma. Why did I not have my own boundaries? Why did I allow someone to push off of me and still be in my circle? I mean, physical violence is a no-go, and of course that ratcheted up to the end of the show. By the time she was trying to wrestle my phone and smash it out of my hands, I got triggered again from my trauma, from my childhood. So don't put hands on me. And I'm sure she's definitely put hands on other people. Like, it takes one to know one. I guess this is what happens when two narcissists date, or when two addicts date, and two people with unhealed trauma date. That's what it's like in AANA. This is the reason they tell you don't date for the first 6 months or a year when you're getting healed, because we're so codependent. There's a lot of levels of narcissism that's codependent. You might even have a dark empath. We like to think of these things as separate, but they're not. They're so intertwined. If you want to know why the addiction rate keeps going up, you really should ask yourself. Something's itching me. You really should ask yourself why. You know what I mean? That's the big question of life, is like, okay, if this is my situation, why is it my situation? What is my lesson to learn in this situation? Because no one can give you a rhyme or reason for a father, a brother, a teacher doing something to you. There's a lot of things that women do to men too, under closed doors, that we don't really like to talk about. We kind of push it under and just expect everybody to just pretend like everyone's safe. And the thing is like, you won't be safe in those scenarios. They've already happened. And some people do like a dialectic psychology, where you can go back into the situation and see what had happened, right? You can rewrite history. I know that I was trying to see a hypnotherapist that was trying to, okay, well then now your dad's not spanking you and the outcome was different. I'm like, that's a lie. Like, I can see him spanking me. I mean, you might not hear the whole scenario, and lots of us block out trauma, but this is the whole point of it, is because it stays in our nervous system. Whether I liked it or not, no matter how educated I got, no matter how woke I got, even having the warning of a previous abortion did not stop me from my habits of still getting handsy, still getting physical with a pregnant woman. And this hits so home to me in my trauma zone, that it's like, that's it, dude. There's no, oh, I can put it on this other person. It's just them. She's fucking crazy. She's batshit crazy. She's seeing other people. She's cheating on me. She's a slut. She's a dominatrix. I can't. I want to devalue her because I didn't get her. Right. This obsession is real because it only came out sparingly, and this is what I was learning today, and I've been learning every day. But the tough part about this, learning this part, was that I wasn't gonna be the start. Sort of like my dad told me, you won't be the first, you won't be the last. This is exactly what I'm talking about. So one of the things that you have to realize is the person you're going to be with will have trauma of their own, and these are, trauma is not your fault. 6 signs you've been abused, not your fault. All right. So
how does abuse affect a person? Is the road to healing as unpaved as it seems? The Social Care Institute for Excellence has ranked multiple forms of abuse, including physical, domestic, sexual, emotional, financial, discriminatory, and organizational abuse. Healing for abuse survivors of all kinds is a highly relative process. While it is possible to move towards healing the trauma to become whole and healthy individuals, at times, it may have lingering effects throughout your life experiences, and you may even blame yourself for the way you are. Acknowledging all forms of possible abuse helps bring awareness. If you've experienced abuse of any form, check in with yourself to see if you can relate to any of the following types of lingering effects to your trauma. Number 1. You have difficulty in navigating social situations. Do you exercise extreme caution in introducing new faces into your life? As an abuse survivor, your basic need for safety was constantly endangered. This conditioned your brain to be consistently on alert for future dangers. Your sudden reactions to certain people or settings show it reminds you of one of the mental or emotional abuses that you've experienced. Using body language cues is one way to self-soothe when experiencing social anxiety due to abuse trauma. Using open body language, which includes keeping your legs uncrossed or maintaining comfortable eye contact, can help communicate your willingness to be open with others. Number 2. Physical health problems. Does your stomach, head, or other body pain seem to have no identifiable cause? Maltreatment or abuse can cause physical health problems too. Abuse triggers extreme stress levels, which causes your immune system to be negatively impacted. A study concluded that childhood abuse impairs regions of the brain related to function or growth. Reaching out for support can help you check in with the aspect of you that felt most hurt due to the abuse. Notice if you treat your body, mind, or heart kindly and supportively. Number 3, body language comprehension. How observant would you call yourself? Are you a pro at reading the micro expressions flickering across someone's face? As an abuse survivor, you grow to become excellent readers of body language and nonverbal cues. This skill originates from your need to protect yourself from a young age. Your hypervigilance allowed you to identify those who feel safe in opposition to those that felt dangerous to your well-being. When you're able to read a person, the room, or a situation, there's a greater chance of feeling secure in your standings and maintaining a control over your surroundings. Number 4, chronic anxiety and depression. Research found that abuse survivors were 2.5 times more likely to have major depression and are also more susceptible to emotional dysregulation. Your tendency to self-protect from early on can translate into anxiety later. While depression may emerge from a deep sadness within the abuse survivor, your struggle with mental health issues due to abuse trauma may lead to having intrusive thoughts, feeling stuck in a mental loop, or not having the motivation to complete tasks throughout your day. Their presence points towards an unlodged wound in need of tending, which might help to dissipate frustration towards yourself. Number 5, emotional numbness. Do you dread opening up to the notion of moving forward emotionally and mentally? In your moments of duress, your body's immediate reaction was to protect you from harm as much as it possibly could.
Exactly.
Your mind helped you detach from the experience to shield you from going into shock. This represses the trauma from a conscious view, allowing you to continue functioning normally even after experiencing the danger you've endured.
Exactly.
But repressed trauma can cause a multitude of side effects.
Yes.
One of which being emotional numbness. While it may feel
If you're
safe
numb,
to
you're not
detach
feeling
emotionally,
goodness.
healing and allowing for emotions to come through is also the key to pushing the negative emotions out. It's okay to feel sad about what happened to you. You have every right to feel that. But you also have every right to feel proud of how far you've come since then. And number 6, low self-esteem. Do you put yourself down first to avoid conflict or confrontation? If you can relate, you've likely maintained low self-esteem as a result of the trauma you've experienced earlier on. And you surely aren't at fault for this mistaken understanding of self. You're prone to feeling unworthy, undeserving due to the dysfunction within your early environment. Self-esteem can be greatly impacted by your environment. Relabeling upsetting thoughts helps to focus on the positive. Spend time with your feel-good squad. Indeed, the past can't be rewritten in physical terms, but that doesn't mean you're not allowed to rewrite the character you play in your own story. Allow yourself to recast yourself as your own hero. Abuse has an uncanny way of blurring one's vision. What you experienced was never your fault. It can be a difficult task to evade its clutches. It can continue to trickle into your life in the most reticent ways. Users are known to use manipulation tactics like gaslighting to entrap their victims to believe on a subconscious level that they've been at fault and have played a role in their trauma. This negatively impacts your sense of self and personal growth. And even while your younger or earlier self may have believed these statements on some level, know that you're allowed to reconsider this thought. What happened to you was never your fault. Do you recognize any of these signs? If so,
It might not be your fault, but it will be your responsibility, dog. That's what I'm talking about healing trauma this morning, is because it's going to only come out of you in an anxious situation. When I am triggered to this point, I'm not talking like you ruffled my feathers. I'm talking about I feel in danger. My ex would talk a lot about safety, but men need safety too. They want to feel safe around you. They want to feel safe that you're not going to cheat on them. They want to feel safe that you're going to be there in bed every night. They're going to feel safe that the relationship's going to exist no matter what the dysfunction is. A lot of people are looking for the right person to unlock their key. Like if it's the right person, then they'll be able to unlock me. The point that I'm finding is that the key was inside me. I didn't know that I was still walking around with trauma. This isn't something like, even right now when I sit here high with you and just chilling in the jungle, I feel like a normal person. Under duress, I'm not a normal person. I might fight, I might hit, I might control, I might try to shut the whole shit, shut it down, open up shop, just to protect myself. My protection mechanisms were like, yes, I don't want my lover swinging on me. It was a huge issue in my last relationship, and one of the boundaries I didn't keep. You can react any way that you want to. Have a panic attack, push off of me, walk away. All that was above board, and I didn't try to stop any of that. What I should have tried to stop is myself and said, "Hey, this was a little too crazy for me on our first date. I need to really like get to know you and assess you before I take you on a second date. Before there's an opportunity for this to grow into dysfunction." Now that sounds like a functional person, because only now that I know how to express this is how I idea. Anytime I'm going to be even close to a new relationship, I will have to warn them of my trauma. I will have to warn them of my narcissistic behavior. No doubt about it. Most of us are looking for red flags or green flags. No doubt about it. I need to wave a checkered flag. I need to be able to say, I am open enough to talk about this, but also working on it. It's not something that I need you to work on, but know that I am very assertive about this. And I'm going to go into a red pill version of it. There's a difference between being, what's the word? It's not an asshole. Is the difference between being an asshole, which I've been most of my life, and being assertive. Just that's just not what I'm going to do. Most of it would be like, this is what you're going to do. Almost like my siblings. If you don't do this, then here comes the punishment. Here comes the punitive damages. Here comes my bad behavior. Instead of letting out my bad behavior, the new one is to create. That's right. Create healthy boundaries. This is how you heal a narcissist. You create healthy boundaries. When she had first told me boundaries, it felt like a wedge instantly. Like it was already starting to wedge between us, you know what I'm saying, and separate us. And I told her that. I was like, this is something I'm not really used to. And it was a part on her part of communicating it. Well, like, look, I've been through a lot of relationships. I've slept with a lot of dudes, and they only use me for sex. And the only way I'm trying to fucking keep a real man around is to realize that they only want me for my qualities and not my pussy. And for sure you're gonna want the pussy, for sure you want to have sex, and for sure you want to be connected like that. But that's just more oxytocin and confusion for someone that hasn't explained to you who you're sleeping with, right? You don't know how many partners this person's had, what type of sex they had, if they have STDs. I mean, just banging in the first 6 hours is so impulsive and so the opposite of celibacy that it already led into confusion. These are the reasons why you want to wait. It's not that it's so you don't want to get laid. If it's just to get laid, if it's just to get laid, if this is all I wanted from her, then that should have been all that it was. Just, hey, I got the pussy. Thanks for the sexual experience. Go on your merry way, one night stand. Which, for the most part, I thought it was. I was like, I had a one night stand. I had 48-hour love, and now it's an obsession. What turns it into an obsession is the fact that it only comes sparingly. I mean, this is a genius of only giving it to me and disappearing, and then coming back and disappearing, or just messaging me 256 messages in one day to definitely get my attention. It overwhelmed me, right? Like, here's this beautiful woman that's so into me. Except for she tells the other dudes that she loves them. Except for I'm only this month's soulmate. If you feel like the pinup, right? You know, you're the Playboy playmate this month, and the next month is somebody else. And that's the monkey branching. That's the supply. That's the narcissism. That's just what people do. Nobody wants to be alone. But I'm telling you, I get to sit here in my memories, in my pain, in the flashbacks, everywhere that I go, and sit with it and say, well, is that real love, Mark? You know, I'm like, but it felt like real love to me, right? This is the obsession confused with real love, and but real love doesn't leave you, right? Real love doesn't hurt you, right? Like, I mean, it might hurt a little bit, but I mean, like, physically hurt you. And even though I got physical hurt with her on the sixth time she got physical with me at the end, I'm still embarrassed about my decision. I still can't believe that I can still get handsy. Sure, when someone's coming at me and wrestling with me, I know how to wrestle. That kicks in. I wanted to be the guy that isn't near it, the guy that walked away, but 20 minutes before it, cool as a cucumber and just turned his back. I'm sure she was goading me. I'm sure she wanted to get the fight out of me because then that'll make the decision even better for an abortion. It's just like, well, you put your hands on me. What are you gonna do? Hit me? And even though I didn't hit you, uh, and I don't hit women, what are you gonna do? You're gonna wrestle with me? All 200 pounds of my muscles and knowledge of wrestling. This is not healthy. This is people acting like their parents. These are people that don't have any breaks and haven't created any boundaries. The only reason, and maybe boundaries is even a bad word. It sounds just like so closed in, and I start feeling claustrophobic. More like rules. I mean, even rules, policies. Create healthy policies, bro. Let me put policies up here. I have a no hands policy. There it is. Even if you're a small woman, even if you're just tapping my head, there it is. This is the I cannot accept that behavior. You can keep doing what you're going to keep doing, but I can't be around you. I can walk away from any moment, at any time, anyone. It doesn't matter because I know that me triggered is going to get bad results. So I can even say that as a well educated person or somebody that's just educated himself and be like, yo, this is my create system. Here it goes. I took it from one of the doctors. I forget his name, but anyway. C, cultivate healthy boundaries. Narcissists and emotional abusive people are boundaryless. He said they drive all over the road in others' business. Uh, don't stay in their own lane. Say what they want to say. Do what they want to do. Be where they want to be. Um, this is pretty much me. You know, I want to do what I want with who I want for as long as I want, wherever I want. Right? Like this is the definition, Tony Robbins, of success. But this right here, cultivating healthy boundaries are really for you. They're not making or forcing someone else into your celibacy or you can only talk to me in Spanish or I mean, this is something that you can't force people to do, him or her, you know, he or she. This is not in your control. That's not what that is. Your boundaries are these rules, these policies that you have inside you to heal your trauma. These are things to be like, look, listen, I've lived enough, 44 years on this planet, to tell you that I have narcissistic tendencies. I do tend to continue arguments. I would like to not harp on these things. You are more than welcome to tell me that I'm harping. That would be awesome. I could use a healthy partner teach me these things. This is the tough part with the trauma part is there's not going to be not a lot of people around that want to heal trauma. I know for sure her trauma looked like a big pile of fucking shit on fire, and I was just like, not my circus, not my monkeys. And maybe she needed a psychologist in her partner. I'm not quite sure. I got a psych degree, but I'm not your psychologist. I actually need my own psychologist. I actually have my own trauma, drama, and shit to process. So it wasn't like I was going to just jump up and be Doctor Doolittle or Doctor Do Good. I needed Doctor Feel Good, and there's the one that makes it feel good. He's the one that makes it feel alright. Okay, anyway, you can't help it. Makes it feel good. Anyway, so my point is that these things aren't external; they're internal. And they're just rules that you follow inside your own moral compass that I didn't really think. I was like, you know, in my world, maybe in my codependency or the way that I my dating style or maybe my attachment style, that anxious avoidant attachment style. She was more the avoidant. I was more the anxious because like these things heighten me. Like I'm in love, everything has to be perfect. I gotta do good, don't fuck up. Um, Over analyst paralysis on everything. What did that last message mean? What does that mean? Why isn't she texting me? What is she texting me? Is she just arguing through text, which was a big deal for me? Some of these boundaries are like, look, I would love to have the rest of this conversation through text, but I find the subject matter to be too heavy to be through text messages without context. When would you be available, free, and safe enough to meet me? Would you like to meet in public? Would you like to meet at a different time? I can only have these conversations face to face. And just let it be that. If they message you 200 plus more times, then they can. Just don't respond. You've already kept your policy. These are going to be, like my great aunt Marlene said, your principles, right, are not convenient. They're only going to be tested when they're not convenient. When it's convenient for you to lie, manipulate, get your way out of a situation, monkey branch, get somebody to do something for you, pay pig, whatever. You're doing the around the healing, right? You're literally keeping the same patterns, of abuse and repetition, and this is about breaking these cycles. This is why I'm learning these things, is because like everyone has habits, everyone has cycles. I talk about it openly, honestly, all the time, and it was so tied in with trauma. Like, and I wonder why most trauma victims become addicts, is because this is where they go to numb themselves. When you go to numb yourself, you not only not feel the bad anymore, but you also don't feel the good. And this is something that most people don't know. Most people that get high, I mean, I feel calm, but I don't feel elated, but I don't feel really sad. And with alcohol, you feel numb and you think that you feel really excited, and then at the end, you feel like shit. You're just like, wow, this is a depressant. This is really killing me inside. Let me get this going. I want to smoke. Let me see if I can roll a joint for the rest of the show. And that leaves R. We're spelling the word create. Receptive to critical feedback. Growth happens. Assume I don't know it all. Receive and invite new information. This is so important and critical to learning, because most of us narcissists are talking. I wasn't receptive to new information. I was like, black and white, thank you. This is the way, that is the way, and I can't invite anything else in. And you think you'd be smart enough, right, to have a hypothesis? You think you'd be smart enough to listen to new information? You would think that you'd have the ability to absorb someone else's argument, but we don't. We block out. We block it out. That hurts, that new information. I'd rather speak and feel heard than have you feel heard, and then you're not recognized. The chairman has the floor. You basically ball hog. You're bike hogging, bro. You think it's your show. It takes two to tango. And if you really want to be in an intimate relationship, you're going to have to receive some of them. You're going to have to own some of them. And that goes into E, the empathy and validation. And go, okay, yeah, that would make me feel that way too. If I walked up and see you getting head from some dude, that would make me feel a certain type of way. Not to mention that you rolled off with someone without communication. You left me with another man for another man for days, no explanation. This in itself was the trigger. Again, that's you, that's me. That's what you're going to do. This is what I'm going to do. These are our decisions. We got to live by them, and only us get the responsibility of living with them. Okay, active listening is the A. That's being quiet, watching, listening, and understanding another person. Dissolve conflict. This is huge, bro. To de-escalate situations is to be able to fucking sit there and actively listen to the person, actively hear what they're trying to say. They're not just all emotional for no reason. They're trying to convey in the best way that they can. Maybe it's not the way that you can understand, which seems to be my biggest issue. I'm like, if you're not saying it the right way, then I'm not receiving it. Like, it's got to have a blue bow. I got to open up my receptors more. I have to be able to hear all things coming and actually just keep hearing, because they're going to tell me the truth eventually anyway if I sit there long enough and understand. I tend to be a dominator in conversation my whole life, and this will also have to change drastically. It just has to change drastically for me to show any sort of empathy. Or T, tolerate distress. That's right. I have to be able to be self-soothing. I can't be emotionally immature. I can't just pop off because I felt a certain type of way. Someone hurts my feelings. Oh my God. Take everything personal. Oh my God. Build this skill and ongoing practice. This is this distress. It's kismet, as they would say in Turkish. It's just kismet. This is life. C'est la vie. Such is life. Being a stoic or being a real man, you sit with your shit. You sit with your shit. You don't fucking um, let it rock the boat. You stay steadfast and centered. That's what women are really looking for. They want to see men that can handle not only their trauma and their conflicts, but also the world's conflicts. What's coming at you? Do you always fuck shit, throw your keys and this is bullshit. This day sucks. That is not probably your leader and someone you want to follow. I'm just putting it out there, just being honest, and something all men should be honest about. And again, I'm going to talk more about where the red pill gets it wrong, but this is all emotional stability. And E, create. Express and listen to feelings. Don't be self centered. What are they feeling? Vulnerability, understanding. I mean, it's a complete awareness of a switch of awareness instead of what I want to say, what's my perspective and what I'm doing, right? This is such an obsession. This is all I care about. That's narcissistic. I'm now caring about you. All right, well, fuck, it's making you feel a certain type of way. I'm sorry I'm making you feel a certain type of way. How do I change that? Maybe I just need to listen. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, and not point for point it like I'm in a fucking debate class like I always do, thinking I'm Perry Mason on a lawyer stand. That's not what it is. This is really absorbing humans. And you go, okay, is this contextual or emotional? Okay, well, they're emotional, so maybe not so much contextual feedback, Mark. Maybe more emotional support. The more I can tune into this, and this is where the red pill gets it wrong, because empathy is sexy, right? The more I can tune into this, my own empathy, the more I get to feel too. Again, if I'm numbing myself, then I don't get to feel anything, right? I just gonna stay high and just high, right? Which I like getting high. I do love my Mary Jane in the morning, and it is Saint's Addiction for real though. But it's also times that I have to sit there and sit with it and absorb my life choices and see that if I don't put some brakes on the gas, I'm going to wreck every corner. I'm going to crash during conflict. And if I don't heal my trauma and get my shit together, I'm going to hurt other people. That's right. That's like not having a safety on the trigger. Or at least that's how I've been saying it to myself. This is a safety for my triggers. Mm. Come on, trauma. We got you. Next one's for become more mentally tough. Yeah. Become more mentally tough. Unfuckwithable. For the highly sensitive. Get some backup. Some black up from my backup. Can't numb out the bad and not numb out the good. I keep saying that. But one, become more adaptable and flexible, right? Has to go like this. To be good or okay. Ha- oh, the belief that things have to go your way. It has to go like this. My happiness is tied to the outcome. There seems to be a big deal about that. That's another one, to detach from the outcome. That's step two. These are three steps. Um, to, to be good or okay with the outcome is a beneficial skill. Don't cling, right? Repeat this mantra. Things don't have to go my way in order for me to be okay. Say it out loud. Things don't things don't have to go my way in order for me to be okay. When I am tied to the outcome, I am literally desperate to manipulate it. I'm desperate to bust out any narcissistic trick that I got just to get the outcome that I want. This is a narcissistic trait, but I think it's a human trait where we're like, look, if we can, what is, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying type shit. Like you would literally do whatever it takes. It's almost like not eating 2 weeks before you had a photo shoot, or um, um, can't go outside so you have the perfect outfit, or um, they didn't talk to me right, so I can't talk to them. This is so unadaptable. This is so unflexible. It's not even funny. And it's a lot of my rigidity and my own stubbornness and my Taurusness is like, look, dude, if it ain't this way, then it ain't right. And there's so many ways to shave a cat, and I'm gonna let people keep their own ways, man. I'm gonna stop trying to convert them to my ways or try to get them to understand it or flip it. Look, man, you have free will, and so do I. And that's my favorite thing about myself. So I'm gonna use that as my strength and say, I'm going to give you some of it and give you your free will, not try to control you, only hope that you come back to me. In the hopes that you come back to me, maybe you can hope that I'm still here because some of my principles might kick in and be like, I can't do poly, I can't do non explanation, no call, no show, write offs. This is not that kind of person that I am. I'm sorry. It's been real. Lord knows I'm gonna miss you, but maybe you need something else in your life, right? Nothing angry, nothing accusatory, no judgments, no hey, you used to be a real slut, or I didn't mind when I was fucking her, or your trauma has too much wounds. So does mine. Fucking hell, looks it takes one to know one, or the I don't believe in witchcraft, right? Well, hey man, some people do, bro, and be cool during their rituals. I thought I was being cool, but apparently my arguments, and it is not apparently, my arguments killed the show, and I took the microphone and I said what I had to say, and I had what was on my heart, and it's all about me and personalized, and didn't listen at all. She processed everything and made a decision that this pregnancy had no purpose. That the man that I was showing who I was, right? That I'm this guy that's caring less about you and caring more of what I wanted to have to say. That I wasn't a safe harbor for somebody to say what they wanted to say. I thought you could tell me what you want to talk about, right? Probably not, because then I might cut you off. I might get emotional. I might have to make my point. I might have to prove myself to somebody for no reason. Chip on my shoulder. It's an inferiority complex. It's a horrible look, and that's why you have to detach from the outcome. Uh, Life will knock us out if we don't get our way. We throw tantrums. Become less detached. Assisting that things go a certain way um, will slay us. Putting all our emotions into the outcome goal seems to be an obsession as well, and that's all eggs in one basket. What's next? We do this stuff all the time, and okay, well, I'm gonna obsess about all my business. As long as I get my business up, it's gonna be running. And then it's like, okay, that didn't make me happy. What's the next goal? How do I keep my brain dopamine firing? It didn't come from this person. It doesn't come from external sources. Always tries to come from maybe through achievement or a goal or something like that. These dopamines are real. And most people are doing escapism. Most people are doing that. The next greener pasture, right? When doing that, we don't stop to smell the roses, right? We don't get to enjoy the moments. We get the achievements, but it doesn't last long. And we don't get to stay in that present moment. And that seems to be the grounding, the gratitude, finding the joy in the small things and the goodness of the things, instead of it being, it's only going to be good once I crash the finish line. I'm only going to be happy once I've lost the weight. Everything's wrong till these things are right. The perfectionist kills the joy, and it also kills relationships. There's no one out there that's perfect. No one is perfect. That's Saints Addiction's motto, and I'm gonna have to say it more often to myself, including myself. You know, I try really, really hard on my whole life and put a lot of energy into these things, but I also never put that amount of energy into my childhood trauma. This amount of note taking, this amount of concentration, this amount of mentorship, because I just basically applied the same about amount of motivation to it, right? So if I had that amount of motivation, right? If I could climb the stairs to get laid, if I could stay up till 4 a.m. In a bathroom with other men to do cocaine. Um, what other stupid shit? Because you're doing the habits. You know what I'm saying? Like drinking and driving. Like so many things that we do to shoot ourselves in the foot. It's not even fucking funny. And I was like, I'm done doing that. And that's when I came up with Saints Addiction. Little did I know that when I peeled back the addictions, there would be some trauma. And no wonder why the wanted to keep covering up the dirt pile and keep it under the rug because that looks like a lot of pain. Hers looked like a lot of pain, and I was like, I got too much pain for your pain. That closed off my walls. It's almost like the United States. We're just putting a wall between our biggest ally and partner in the way to kill China and their dominance on consumerism. We could be putting our love and growth and open arms into Mexico. Go like, yeah, man, let's give you guys some good freeways. Let's give you guys some good highways. Let's give you guys some partnerships, toys. Let's give you some weaponry, right? Like, get in this world game with us. We want you to grow with us and be a part of us. Even assume some more of your culture. Immigrants welcome, because guess what? Now it's the North Hemisphere versus the East Hemisphere, and that's just me thinking stoned in my head while I'm on this porch and shit. But it makes a lot of sense to me, the cooperation of it, instead of the borders and the boundaries that we put in between each other. I'm going to put a boundary in myself that says I will not allow myself to get physical with you, therefore I have to walk away from you. And I will not allow myself to get ungrounded and start getting spacey with you and start running on your bipolar patterns. And you're allowed to even be bipolar or even having a panic attack. All that's on your side of the fence. I just can't be around it because it triggers me. Now, I wish I was more supportive. I wish I had more empathy. But for me, that kind of stuff triggers me crazy. I think it's crazy, and it makes me feel crazy. And therefore, it triggers my anxiety attachment. And I don't want to be attached in anxiety. I don't want to trauma bond to anyone and be like, you're my savior. You're fix it all the other wounds go away. I even made that statement when I was first dating this chick. I was like, do you think this kind of happiness, this short term cocaine high that we're experiencing when we're falling in love, make up for the years of depression and pain that we've gone through and suffering? Does it, even this short time as like a 1 month of pure bliss, erase the whole year of pure sadness? And I don't think it does. I think that you have to spend as much time as you possibly fucking can to learn yourself, learn about your traumas, learn about your triggers, to thy own self be true. You are going to have to do the work. And not that I'm tooting my horn because I got more work to do. I'm just saying that amount of energy I'm applying to. So peel back the addiction, saw some traumas, want to peel back that so I can get to the actual healing, put a real bandage on this, a real scab can grow instead of a wart that just keeps growing back. And I have to learn the lesson over and over again. I don't want to do that. Where's my water? I don't have my water. I don't want to be the guy, by definition. Literally, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. Last time I thought it was just depression. You pull back addiction, and then there's some feelings underneath it. There's like the depression, and you might not even know about that too. That fucking sucks, because then you're in a tough position where you already feel like shit, and now you're gonna have to adjust your shit to unfeel shit. And I know that sounds kind of confusing and shit, but it's true. Here, let me switch on the roll another joint. that you're going to have to endure more pain while you're already insane. Like, I know that's kind of crazy. I'm trying to get this thing. Mind your business, lady. Okay, cool. Oh my god, dude. Here. Little help. Little help. Thank you. A little help. Some people's kids, bro. Some people's kids, bro. Alright, let's just sit still for a second. Wow. I mean, anything could come and try to frustrate you. Do you have the mental fortitude to like dispel these things? And this is why it's almost like superhuman, like if anybody wishes that they had no anger or could just any situation not let it phase them. And that's what weed is for. But it's just a tough path. It's going to have to be a lifetime choice. This is why I'm so grateful that I'm in fitness, because I've already made a lifestyle choice. I said, hey, I want to fast every day. Intermittent fasting has done wonders for my body. And then also sit here doing meditations in the morning has been helping my mind tremendously. There's going to be some lifestyle choices, radical lifestyle choices. Like I heard Robert Greene said he did it for almost like 12 years straight or something like that. I'm like, goal. You know, when one guy said on the airplane, I want to speak 10 different languages, goal. You know, you got to give yourself some mental goals while you're doing this work, because it's not just the work. Uh, Thank you very much. It's not just the work that I do with my psychologist for 1 hour and maybe the homework that she gives me. No, no, no. My work is in every conversation that I have with someone, right? I get to practice empathy. I get to start letting them in, start feeling more of my emotions, having more mastery of my emotions. A lot of us are just out of control. That was one of the other things that she did when you endure a tough time. Be more resilient, get back up. Oh, I'm missing one. I didn't finish this. No longer percent it churn out, wanted it to be ah, granted gratitude. Find the joy and goodness. It didn't turn out the way I wanted it to be or believed it could. So I'm so tied to the outcome, right? This detached from the outcome. It didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. She didn't keep my baby. She killed my baby. It happened again. Um, I'm really freaking out because now I'm in anxiety. I'm in fear. It's starting to happen all over again. I'm trying to keep my composure. I should have even probably meditated before I met up with her. I just got up in that morning and went straight there. I didn't sit long enough with myself to be like, okay, hey, Mark, here's this situation again. You got another girl pregnant. It's high stakes. You're gonna feel really really anxious. How about you sit really really still when you and when she talks to you, you're just gonna listen. I didn't give myself that pep talk. I didn't give myself that, hey, you know you've been traumatized before. Most of the time I don't talk to myself like that. I don't know anybody that really does. Hey, you've been traumatized. But hey, you know this feeling, this anxiety, this thing you felt since you were abused as a child in your gut is coming back up. Now you're an adult. Maybe it's the police behind you. Maybe it's in a relationship. All these things considered, right, are happening, and I'm feeling what I'm feeling. To be able to assess your feelings, bro, to be able to get some breaks before you hit the gas, some pause for the cause, pause, like my mom says, Mark, pause. I would be on so much adrenaline, so much stress. My fight or flight response was in complete survival mode that I didn't even realize that my heart rate was going up. You don't even realize in your stress situation. Maybe you think, and maybe I got it from my mother too, because she would rush us out the door in the morning, you know, like grab this, grab that, yelling and hurry up. And she was late herself, and I can't be late. And the anxiety was driving me crazy to go to school. If she was driving, then she would drive with her knee. Then she would put on her makeup, and there'd be snow on the ground in a minivan. My mom was making not smart decisions, but we've all been there. You know what I mean? We've all been in that situation where maybe someone's rushing you and trying to yell at you and ratchet up your anxiety when it's happening. Look, you can't control people that are like that. You can kind of get away from them, and sure, you can't nerf the world. But for sure, you can sit quietly in the morning, right? Just putting it out there for all those that are wondering, you know, how did I lose all the weight? How do I stay mentally healthy? How is this even fucking possible after another abortion? This is what I do, bro. I sit with it, bro. I sit with it. I sit with these thoughts. I sit with these emotions, and I assess them now. I don't just feel them. Those get a time limit, which is I'm fucking grateful for, because fuck, it's exhausting being emotional, and that's why we tend to go back to the drugs or smoke more weed or whatever. I mean, Lord knows I've been smoking my head off to get through this emotional baggage, but um, I wanted to be Mac the Knife. I wanted my trigger to be on a safety that I controlled on a regular. I wanted to be able to be mentally tough and know that life is gonna throw me fucking loops and hoops and fuck with me all the fucking time. It's just coming, it's happening. Get ready, and the only way to get ready is to set up, you know, safety defense mechanisms and processes that you didn't know that you had. You just come up with them. You start keep going. Okay, that's a solid boundary for me. I've had enough relationship experience to say if a person does something like to that effect, I have to walk away from them, no matter how pretty, no matter how potent. That's just what my resilience, my endurance is asking of me, and that's what I'll step up and do. Here, let me roll this real quick. Got all sorts of people leaving the island this morning. You can hear them rolling out, taking off. Another customer, another satisfied customer up early. I will soon be him. In 1 week, I leave this beautiful jungle and all these memories and triggers and get myself into new patterns and figure myself out a new way to be. Instead of being stress and anxiety, I'm going to harness my chi. I'm going to take the mornings on slow like I like it to be. I'm going to be able to enjoy life in all its faculties, not just the good, but also the bad and the ugly, and start appreciating the process more. Right? Like it's a journey, not a destination, and each thing's teaching me lessons. And I'm done bitching about not a little boy anymore. You know, I'm 44-year-old man that can't throw a tantrum when things don't go my way. Can't be a grown ass boy. Can't let people trigger me. I can't be running around town with a loaded weapon. I needed to get handles on my ball skills. I needed to be able to control this thing called my brain. Uh, Last but not least, my favorite, and God Almighty knows, endure. Maka, endure. Fuck, I'll never forget that. You ain't lived till you've been in South Korean prison, and the prison captain, not just a regular guard, the captain comes in and goes, Maka! Really polite guy, barely spoke any English, barely any English. And he said, Maka! Endure! And I was like, yeah, I gotta stop bitching that I'm here. You know what I mean? I really need to start getting on a writing campaign. I need to snap out of it and get the fuck out of it because um, I was slowing myself down. I was sitting there bitching. Life will punch you. Learn how to become more resilient. Get back up. Fucking feel, but don't stay there. Courage to face tough things. Failure is an option, and it's okay. Like, this was one of the biggest mistakes of my life. Thank you, Birds Chirp. The enduring a prison sentence for 3 grams of weed, what I have here, less than what I have here actually. My my regular habit, less weed than this. Like, half of this bag was sending me to 5 years of South Korean prison, and I was in a South Korean prison cell, a really small cell, and it changed my life. And I know how to endure. I know how to bitch so much, and it kind of left me in a survival mode where it's like everything might go bad at any moment. I ratchet up the anxiety, do my best so things don't get worse. And turns out the anxiety version of me does not get the best results. This is not the success rate that I'm hoping for. This isn't the way it should be or could be. This is literally me freaking out and thinking that I'm doing a good job at it. It's horrible leadership. You don't want your leaders to be on fire. You want your leaders to be steadfast. You don't want them to uh, forget you or mistreat you. You want them to consider you and understand you, and that's just all human beings. So, as I go through this in this morning, I'm grateful. Step number 3 to become more mentally tough was endure, because I think I know I bitch about it too much. I was like, not for nothing, you did something and you got that result, and you got to sit with that. If you really sit with it, you might let the pain teach you a different way. You just might allow it to sink in and be like, okay, there was a bigger lesson here. Okay, I'm not supposed to do that, you know? And if you really would have learned the lesson from the first time and really went and gone and seen a psychologist instead of doing the lip service, this wouldn't have happened. Or maybe it would have done something differently. Or I would have kicked in any of these new skill sets that I didn't have before. There's a bunch, bro. And I don't have time for it because I only got 6 minutes left. But there was another video talking about uh, uh, steps to stop this, steps to heal your trauma, because it's everyone's got it. It sounds so hippie and it sounds so dippy. It's like your childhood trauma and your llama and your crystals and your fractals. It gets a little too esoteric. What I'm saying is, inside of you, you learned as a child, science and psychology, not pure fact, a way to cope with the world, a way to understand it and interact with it. And usually only under these situations, because most of us are walking around pretty much in a haze, mental fog, or just going through the motions the regular day. It's only when all of a sudden something gets iggy. Somebody's trying to fight you, someone's yelling, someone's interacting with you rudely. It comes out suddenly, and so does your reactions. That's what's so weird about trauma. It just comes right through the brain, and now you're acting like your parents. Now you're not acting like your normal self. And what's worse is you didn't have any of these skill sets to slow this rush of adrenaline out, to slow your hands down, to slow your mind down, to slow your breathing down. Up in the city, and I'm down for the night, down for the night, saying I'm down for the night. Oh, 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 oh. Who will survive in America? Who will survive in America? Up in the world, I'm down my whole life. That's so tasty. I'm new in the city, and I'm down for the night. Say I'm down for the night. Imagine you can stop yourself, take physical control over yourself with your mental thought, talk about breathing, think about breathing and actually doing it. Then now you've taken control, not of them, of you. And then you can say, I'm in control. And with that, after I'm done breathing, I'm going to do some singing because it soothes me. And then after I'm done singing, I'm in a different universe now. I'm a different vibration. The guy that was about to chew your ass out or possibly swing on you, hurt you in some way, shape, or form because he felt attacked, is not feeling under attack at all. So no one gets attacked. Imagine that. Imagine that. Some breaks. Wow. I'm learning. This is just all I got. This is the strategies that I'm learning, guys. This isn't like something that I've mastered or anything. I have to practice this daily. Again, every person I interact with is a new way to practice it. I'm excited to just talk to people differently and hear their stories and absorb them. Sometimes it kicks in where I'm like, yeah, I just this person's a lot of energy and I just can't do it. I'm not perfect. This isn't going to be perfect. It's never going to be perfect. No one is perfect, and that's why it Saints addiction. That's why I keep smoking my weed. I do ease my mind. I do have a lot of emotions, and it turns out I'm an emotional person. So, as a very emotional person, I have to put some boundaries on my emotions. I have to give myself a fence and a safety perimeter to protect this thing that's there. And then the next person that I'm with, the warning has already been honest. It was like, look, I'm extremely emotional. I tend to take things very personal. I wish I wasn't narcissistic, but I am working on it. And the way I work on it is by listening and feeling and being more empathetic, being more human, allowing myself to be more human because me being more human means I get to feel more human. That's right. Enjoying this skin, enjoying this view, enjoying the fresh rainforest air, some of the freshest air on the planet, and water. I am here. And I'm in this present moment instead of a future moment and fear and then a past moment of regret. I sit here and I go, I'm still standing. I'm still strong. You know, if it isn't, what did she say? How did she say it? How come she said, if it isn't meant to be, things don't have to go my way in order for me to be okay. And I'm okay. And it's okay to be okay. It's okay to be not okay sometimes. It's okay to even be high. But the point is having some regulations to these things. It's not on someone else made me feel I'm a child anymore. But they did this to me. I did this to me. I healed me. I reached inside my inner child. Inside here, little Marky, no beard, having ass, wanting to be loved and love people and wanting to be happy and smile, light up the world and feel good all the time. That kid's still inside me before he became an addict, before he became an abuser, before two Aquariuses killed two babies. I am my story. You are the only one that can rewrite the next chapter. And unfortunately, with the thunder coming in behind me, it's going to be tough. And that's why this has to be a daily task. This has to be a lifestyle. It's no longer hiding behind a sex addiction or a drug addiction. I want to be addicted to my healing. And this is my new focus. It's made me all healthy. It's all encompassing. So I highly, highly, highly highly recommend it. I highly recommend that you sit with it because only then can you peel it away. If you keep going in through the motions and go through the fog and try to just go drudge on to work and stuff, that's fine. I'm just having a warning, public service announcement, PSA. Yo, it's only going to come out when it's the most important to you. When you need the job, when you need the girl, when you need the outcome. And if you're going to detach from the outcome, just completely detach from the outcome, that's fine. uh, Also detach from the control, you know, detach from the control outward of the world and trying to control the outwardly. Like, I can control the world, I can control what happens to me, I control everything, right, Thunder? I don't control shit except for me. Let me add that. The only control I have is over me, and that's the one thing I want the most control over. So that'll make me Mac the Knife. That'll make me irresistible. That will make me powerful. And in my narcissistic ways, those are the things I want. I want to be wanted. I want to be desired. I want people to find me awesome because I feel like an awesome person. So it's like, if that's their perspective, that's awesome. If it's not, that's awesome too, bro. Not getting votes here. We're not running for president. We're not scamming people. We're not on trial right now. What we all are doing is, or should be doing, is learning and growing and finding all the things that aren't working in our lives and get into those sectors, ecoggy it, find some purpose with it, put some energy into it, and watch it transform. I hope you can hear this thunder behind me. I'm going to enjoy it. More meditation on the way for me. Peace and love. And as always, Chigathon. That means goodbye, but not forever. And I will see you on the other side as soon as you like, share, and subscribe. I smoke too many joints. She's right. I do spit too much, but it's me. And warts and all, this is part of me. It's always been this way, but it doesn't always have to stay this way. Enjoy your day. I'm going to do mine. Peace.